Hello everyone, my name is Cherie. Welcome to my May 2026 wrap-up vlog, where I go over all the media I consumed in the month of May. Starting with screenplays. I read one screenplay in the month of May, The Sting, which won a Best Original Screenplay Oscar. And the movie, starring Robert Redford and Paul Newman, also won an Oscar for Best Picture. It's a caper movie about two professional grifters who plot to con a dangerous mob boss. And if you haven't seen the movie, definitely give it a watch. Honestly, the movie is more fun than the screenplay. And speaking of movies, I forgot to mention one in my April wrap-up, Father Goose. Father Goose also won a Best Original Screenplay Oscar. The movie stars Cary Grant and Leslie Caron. During World War II, a Pacific Island plane spotter finds himself responsible for a stranded teacher and her 7 young students. It was charming. Kiss Me Stupid by my favorite writer-director, Billy Wilder. It's a raunchy comedy about womanizing singer Dean Martin playing a slightly exaggerated version of himself, who's stuck in a small town where 2 amateur songwriters scheme to pitch him their music. Superman from 2025 was super fun. The CGI dog Crypto was cute. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was great, as usual. And bonus points for the drunk Supergirl cameo at the end. I also watched 2 more adaptations of the H. Rider Haggard novel, She, which is about a professor and his adopted son who travel to Africa in order to find an ancient civilization ruled by a mysterious queen. She from 1984 is She in title only. It's very 80s and dumb. She Who Must Be Obeyed from 2001. It starts out like the novel, then veers off. Christoph Waltz plays the father of Leo, the character who plays the love interest of She. May was Asian Heritage Month, and I watched a bunch of great movies from the continent. Infernal Affairs from 2002. An undercover cop and a mole in the police force attempt to identify each other. If that sounds familiar, it's because The Departed was a remake of Infernal Affairs, and I also rewatched that 2006 film, which won a Best Picture Oscar. I saw a trio of martial arts movies. Drunken Master from 1978. A mischievous young man is sent to train under a brutal but slovenly old beggar who teaches him the secret of the drunken fist. Eagle Shooting Heroes from 1993. A power struggle between the queen's treasonous lover and a princess occurs amid musical numbers, slapstick battles, and martial arts acrobatics. And Yip Man from 2008. Which I used to call IP Man. It's a semi-autobiographical account of Yip Man, the first martial arts master to teach the Chinese martial art of Wing Chun. He went on to train Bruce Lee. This was the best of the bunch. Funeral Parade of Roses from 1969. It's an avant-garde reimagining of Oedipus Rex set against Tokyo's underground queer and counterculture scene. It stars Peter, who played the fool in Akira Kurosawa's Ran. And Peter is fabulous in both. Pulgasari from 1985. This is a North Korean kaiju film. The blood of a blacksmith's daughter brings a monster to life to overthrow an evil king's corrupt regime. I'd never heard of this film. I was checking my Letterboxd stats for the Asian films I'd watched and realized I hadn't watched any from North Korea this year. I clicked on the country to see which films were there, and Pulgasari was ranked number 1. So I had to watch it. Now, the story of the filmmaker behind Pulgasari deserves its own movie. Basically, he was a South Korean director who was kidnapped by the North Koreans so that he could come over and make movies for North Korea until he was able to defect. So it's got some real Argo vibes, and it's really fascinating. Harakiri from 1962. A down-and-out Ronin arrives at the estate of a powerful feudal clan, requesting permission to commit ritual suicide. Harakiri is ranked #1 on the Letterboxd Top 250 films. It's got great storytelling. If you're a writer, you must watch it. May was also Jewish Heritage Month, and I watched some movies based around World War II. Army of Shadows, 1969. The film follows a small group of French resistance fighters as they attempt to send and receive information, supplies, and logistics between themselves in Nazi-occupied France. Army of Shadows was not released in the US until 2006, and it's one of the best espionage films I've seen. I highly recommend it. Germany, Year Zero, from 1948. A 12-year-old boy struggles to survive in the ruins of Berlin. This is the final film in Roberto Rossellini's war trilogy, the others being Rome Open City and Paisan. Germany, Year Zero is my favorite of the three. It shows the consequences of fascism for both society and the individual. Ida, from 2013. Ida, a young nun about to take her vows, learns a shocking family secret and sets off with her newly discovered aunt on a road trip through Poland. Gorgeous black and white cinematography, short runtime, lovely storytelling. In my February vlog, I had mentioned how I was trying to watch all of the James Bond movies because Netflix had put them all on their platform, and unfortunately it only went for 3 months. So I was able to see all of the Sean Connery James Bond films and then the one George Lazenby film. If I was to continue on in the series, numerically, I would have had to pay. So what I did is rented all 5 of the Daniel Craig James Bond films from my library because they were all in stock. So now we're going to skip on to the most recent version of James Bond, starting with Casino Royale. Casino Royale has been adapted 3 times, and I watched all 3. First was the 1954 made-for-TV movie starring Barry Nelson as Jimmy Bond. Barry very much resembles SNL comedian Colin Jost. The second version was a chaotic 1967 satire starring David Niven and Peter Sellers. It plays like a drug-induced fever dream. Then finally, the 2006 Casino Royale starring Daniel Craig in his first outing as Bond. It's the best of the 3. However, I really enjoyed the 60s version, which evidently was panned when it came out. Oh, and I just wanted to talk about all the iterations of the character Le Chiffre. In the TV movie, it was Peter Lorre, who you might know from the movies M and Casablanca. In the groovy 60s satire, it was Orson Welles, and he does magic in it, and he's just so funny. I wish Orson Welles had done more comedy because he was great. And then, of course, Mads Mikkelsen in the Daniel Craig version. And did you know that Mads Mikkelsen was a dancer before he was an actor? Here are all the Daniel Craig Bond movies: Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die. The only one I hadn't seen before was No Time to Die. Wow, what an ending. Good on them. Of the quintet, my favorites are Casino Royale and Skyfall. I think most people feel the same. And that's it for the physical media wrap-up. I also uploaded my 35-minute Silicon Valley video. It's a compilation of 7 videos showcasing different companies and places to visit: the Intel Museum, the NASA Ames Visitor Center, the Tech Interactive, Santana Row, the Computer History Museum, the wineries of Silicon Valley, and the Apple Park Visitor Center. I'll add the link in the description. So please give it a watch. I put a lot of time into it, and I think you'll really enjoy it, especially if you don't know much about Silicon Valley. We did a location scout / camera test for Project Santa Cruz. The actor playing my brother and I need a picture at natural bridges. For the real picture, we're going to take it at sunset when the lighting will be perfect. And finally, I was able to get all my short film information on Letterboxd. I uploaded 4 more shorts: Karen and Karma, Eat Crow, Reflections, and Junk Food Junkie. If you're on Letterboxd, please watch and log these films. It would mean so much to me. I'll leave their YouTube links in the description box. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.